because perhaps you've already seen that we're going to be upstairs for tomorrow morning service. Very exciting. We always start singing here. It's a very important thing. We love to sing at TBT. So we always start with a melody that doesn't have any words, because we figure that's the best way to level the praying field, if you will. So those of you who know this nigun, please join in. And if you don't know it, you'll pick it up after just the first 1 or 2 times. And here's how it sounds. Voices sound so wonderful. So good to be here celebrating Shabbat. So pleasant to be with one another, with brothers and sisters. Actually, literally many brothers and sisters. Raise your hand if you have a brother or sister somewhere in this room. Yeah, that's a lot of you.
Yeah.
Right? With brothers and sisters. Of course, the psalmist says with brothers and sisters to mean with fellows with whom we are in relationship, in community, wish to share goodwill and togetherness, as we very much do tonight. So that's what we're going to start singing. Okay, in the Psalms, Hine Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. I understand that we have some special leaders, right, Dr. C?
We do. Our 3rd and 4th graders are going to come up and help us with this song. And if you take a look, that's your cue. Stand up. Come this way. Come on.
Come up, stand next to Dr. C, everybody. Don't worry, she doesn't know.
Wait, what? And if you look around, you'll see that there are posters that our 3rd graders have created. I'm sorry, 3rd and 4th. I'm sorry, that our 3rd and 4th graders have created, expressing how they feel about this very prayer, Hine Matov U'Manayim, this song, in which we talk about how good it is to be together with our brothers and sisters.
We're on page 128 in your prayer book. If you have one of the thin books, we're going to be on the page in the brackets. If you don't see brackets, then don't worry about it. Page 128. Ready, kids? Are we ready? It's the one that goes. Right? From the beginning, ready? You can sing louder than that. Sounds good, sing louder. Now sing it like you really mean it.
so much.
We're going to see you again in a little while for the Shema. Okay? And as we're finding space for everyone, this is also a great opportunity, since we've been filtering in, to find somebody you haven't yet said Shabbat Shalom to, and just wish them a greeting for Shabbat.
I'm back on the column. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Ask Kate about them. Hey.
All right.
Hi.
Brothers aren't coming in the end? Brothers. Are we coming? Yeah. You want to actually do the lighting of the candle, or do you want to do the lighting of the candle?
I can light candles.
Can you? Okay.
Let's hope.
Why don't you? Good. All right, Maya. We're so glad. So this Shabbat is called on the calendar Shabbat HaGadol, which is the great Shabbat, the big Shabbat, and it's the Shabbat right before Passover. It's a big Shabbat, but it's also a great Shabbat because we get to celebrate a great milestone for our friend Maya and your family as you're becoming Bat Mitzvah tomorrow. Very exciting. So it's great that you're here with your mom and your bros and Grandma Janice. And you're here to light the Shabbat candles. We're on page 120 and we can all sing along. So go ahead. First we light, then we sing, and then we can read that little reading. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Do I say the prayer?
First we light.
First, oh my God. I got it. I got it. I promise. I can do it. Oh my God. I didn't get the mat.
It's okay.
You're gonna get lit. I'm not trying to. Stop lighting.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom and Mazal Tov to your whole family. Very good. Okay, you guys can all have a seat. We're now entering the part of our service called Kabbalat Shabbat, or welcoming Shabbat into our midst, which culminates in the poem Lecha Dodi, where we turn to the entrance of the door and welcome Shabbat as though a long lost friend that we can't wait to see again. We're on page 130 with Lechu Nirami.
Look across at the other page, page 131.
'Now I hope we're feeling a little more warmed up, a little bit more in the Shabbat spirit. Sometimes it's hard to make the transition from the week into the Shabbat, from the stress into the rest. But I always say that this is the oldest technology, one of the oldest technologies that humans have. And it used to be very helpful in the ancient days. And now it's 10 times more helpful. Okay, because life comes at us pretty quick, right? Isn't that what Ferris Bueller, the great rabbi, said? I see some children of the 80s out there. I won't name names. And what does he say? What does he say? If you blink, you can miss it. Right? The idea of Shabbat is we are eyes wide open, right? If the week is a lot of looking down and looking at screens and looking at the watch and looking at schedules, then Shabbat is an opportunity to look up. Notice things around you that matter, that you might not have noticed. See people's faces around you who love you. Have an opportunity to just give somebody you care about a little love, right? That's what Shabbat is all about. And it matters more today than it ever has. So I invite us all to, for a moment, close your eyes, reflect on something from the week gone by that just doesn't belong on the other side of this place in time. You know what it is. Oh yeah, that. Yep. Leave it where it belongs, which is on the other side of this moment in time. And I invite you to take a deep cleansing breath from your belly. Let it out. Feel something new in the next breath. Enter into Shabbat. Page 138. Shabbat. Call and response here. Verse 5, Hit Ori, means wake up. Wake up all you sleepers. Please rise as we face the entrance. I'll have a seat. Page 142. We should be up this one. Okay.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
excellent.
With this crowd, we need the drum on this one.
You ready? Give us some nice rhythm, drummer.
Drummers in the bathroom. Story of my life.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ay Ay Ay, Lochem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Ay Ay Ay, Melech Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Ay, 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 Sefer Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Ay, 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 Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 146. Please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Turn the page. We'll continue reading in English on page 148 in English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ariv Elohim. Page 150.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, קיום משפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, תשפטנו ופורנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לאור מועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, לאורך ימינו. לתת דגל יום הלילה, יום הלילה. ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולם כי ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 152. Third and fourth graders, we need you. Maya, we need you. Maya, do you want to come stand next to me here?
Right there.
Where's Ruby?
Please be seated.
Whenever you're ready, nice and loud.
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ובשבתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
Well, on the heels of this wonderful holiday of Passover, there's a lot to be grateful for, thinking about freedom. And freedom has a role within every single service, not just at this time of year, But really, at every time of day, in every Jewish service, there's an opportunity for us to feel grateful to be free. And so that's the song that we sing as we celebrate. It says in the Torah that Miriam led all of the women in song and dance with timbrels in hand. We have at least one timbrel in the, nope, we didn't bring the timbrel tonight. Darn. Well, there's always next week, which is Passover prophet. So, but it's also an opportunity to sing and to dance. Yep, Josh is ready. Here we go. Anybody who wants to dance with Josh is more than welcome. We're on page 158.
Where did you learn this? You're a bit young for this one. Ah, excellent.
I don't know if that's the dance they did at the Red Sea, but you know what? It's modern midrash, so there's that.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Thank you guys for dancing. That was awesome.
That was fun. I think you're starting a new tradition at TBT.
Yeah. Me come off a train.
Do I have a volunteer who would read an English poetic interpretation of our beautiful Hashkivenu prayer on page 161? Volunteer who wants to read? Is that a serious hand, Ruby?
Okay, come on. You can do it from your seat if you want, or you can do it up here with me. It's up to you. Yeah? Which one?
Why don't we read the top one?
The top one.
How's
Okay,
that?
we're going to be right here. All right, you do it with me? All right. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukkah shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. Nice job, Ruby. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukkah shalom. Shalom aleinu. Kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim, shalom, ve'al Yerushalayim. Ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim, shalom. Apore Sukkot Shalom. Shalom Aleichem El Kol Amo Yisrael. Shalom Aleichem El Kol Amo Yisrael. Now, I know it might have seemed a little silly or a little like a joke, but dancing is truly one of the most beautiful ways to enter into a prayer when it is done authentically and with love. So we are going to sing Adonai Sfatai Tiftach. There can be some dancing here too if you wish, but it's not a command performance. It's up to what your body needs to do right now. And you can stand when you're ready. You can dance when you're ready. You can not dance. You cannot sing. You can do whatever you want as you are what you need to do, who you need to be in this one. Page 164. Please rise. 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotzeinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim Vekone Hakol V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magin Baruch atah Adonai Magin Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Olam Adonai Mechayeh Hakol Harav Le'Moshiach Mashiv Haruach U'Morid HaGashem Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayeh Hakol Be'Rachamim Rabim Tomech Noflim Ve'Ofeh Oholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato L'Shenei Afar Michamocha B'Gevurot U'Midam Elam Melech Memid U'Mechayeh U'Matzliach Yeshua V'Ne'eman Ata L'Chayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol 170.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללו הצלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, הלל הקדוש.
Take a moment for silent prayer. You can follow the words of the prayer book through to page 180 or offer the prayer of your heart, Tfilah Shebalev, and then we'll have a seat when we are ready.
יהיו רצון עם לפי, יהיו רצון עם לפי, ויום ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
Page 180.
May the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you. Oh God, my rock and my redeemer. Oh, say shalom b'roma. Yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'ahavot Yisrael.
Every time we gather as a community, we take a moment to think of all of those in our midst who are in need of healing. I will share the names of those made known to us, and then there will be an opportunity. If you would like to add someone you're thinking of, whether you're here or on Zoom, you can do so as well. We think of our temple members, April Diamato, Norma Diamond, Ann Karamanis, Josh Lipschitz, Ken Gammerman, Hattie Sussman, and Mark Warner. And also our loved ones, Barak Yaakov ben Avram Basara, Tamar Bat Rachel, Harav Chaim ben Leah, Connie Ambrosino, Mickey Bart, Jay Fliss, Michelle Rusinko, Babs Weiss, Joanne Crisulo, Kyle Katz, Bart Young, Sydney Scher, Matthew Pincus, Soraya Casey, Brian Kamens, Steve Kamens, Cecilia Barron, Marvin Goldberg, John Van Steenbergen, Phoebe Apgar, Claude Scales, Barbara Whitehouse, Vivian Handis, Roberta Gleit, Paul Frisman, Bruce Petroff, Raymond Wolf, Kim Weeder, Tim Maurer, Ben Peck, Georgina Peck, Marion Macon, Martha and Mark Potter, Jackie Reyes, Monica Capociello, Gloria Newell, Sabine Meyer, Joan Prum, Carol Chaikin, Adrian Wasserman, Sherry Cohn, Joan Sidney, Trevor Jones, Peter David, Michael Stafford, Ira Weiss, Joan Katz, Myron Katz, Mark Weinberg, Deanna Rosenberg Garabo, Drew Garabo, Davis Chamberlain, and Maureen Victor. If there's anybody in our lives that we're thinking of for healing at this time, we can certainly add their names publicly or hold them in our heart. Either way, I'll come around the circle, and those on Zoom are welcome to enter the name of a loved one into the chat if you so desire. Anybody we're thinking of tonight? Say that. Nadine.
Karen Hill and John Miller.
Karen Hill, John Miller.
Jane and Tom Schwab.
Jane and Tom Schwab. We think of Carol Robb and Elle and Pat Masore on Zoom. Others think
Russell Vogel.
Russell Vogel. Deborah Halpern. Erica. We'll join our voices in a new Misha Baroff melody that we've been learning over the last few weeks. Do we have the
Yeah, but we
handouts?
didn't have enough for so many people. A lovely problem to have.
Got it. Okay.
So we're trying to share. I don't know how far around it got.
Well, we can all learn the chorus quite easily, and that's the part we'll keep coming back to.
It's all pretty. One to the front row, one to the back.
Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our lives be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. Yisheberach Ivotenu, Sanavi Kalei Amirachem. May the one who blessed our mother, may the one who blessed our father, hear our prayer. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, bless us as well. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. Yisheberach Ivotenu, Saravi Kalei Hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer. All right, well, normally at this time in this service, we would have a special ceremony for all of our third graders for the Chagigat Sidur, the party, the celebration, the milestone of them receiving their first prayer book at the occasion of their beginning to learn Hebrew. And like that, most times that we do this, we're going to do that just on a slightly smaller scale, because we only got one of these. And the good news is that we're going to have the rest of your class come together on a Sunday to do it together. But would my friend Andrew like to come up for a second? What do you say, buddy? Give me a high five. All right. Good.
Hey, Andrew.
Andrew, this moment marks the beginning of your formal Hebrew learning. Okay? And Hebrew is not just a language. Did you know that? Hebrew is not just a language. It is a language. It's one that's spoken by a lot of people in a place called Israel. Did you know that? Yeah, I knew you know that. Oh, keep off on. But it's more than just a language. It's actually an identity. The very first Jewish person, before even there were Jews, Abraham and his wife Sarah, they were Hebrews. It's a people. It's a people who the word Hebrew in Hebrew means something like cross over from one place to another or from one stage to another. So you're crossing over right now, the stage from being like a little kid to being a pretty much less little kid. Believe it or not, right? Right, mom and dad? You're growing up, you're observing this special rite of passage of starting your Hebrew studies. Traditionally, they used to actually give kids, believe it or not, a little tablet with all of the letters of the alphabet inscribed and honey to lick off of it. We don't have any honey for you to lick tonight, but that might be coming up soon. Okay, so I personally, I know Dr. C shares this sentiment, I'm very excited to present you, go ahead, Dr. C, present you with this book. What kind of book is this?
Prayer book.
It's definitely a prayer book.
What does it say on the front?
What does it say on the front?
Andrew Blazer.
Yeah.
It does.
It also says Ronen ben Reuven de Miriam. Do you know what that is?
Andrew William Blazer.
Yeah, well, it's your Hebrew name. And then it says son of, and then your father's name, Reuven, and your mother's name, Miriam.
I know you don't usually think of them this way, but that's Reuven, and that's Miriam.
Say, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Your Hebrew name tells what clan you're from. Okay, so from this point forward, your Hebrew name is part of your Hebrew learning, is part of your Jewish identity, all together. And it's a special milestone for you. So we're going to celebrate this again together with your whole class. We're going to do a couple of other things. We wanted to make sure to celebrate that for you tonight. And I want everybody to sing. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov.
Which means may you continue to grow in strength.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Okay, so now you get an option. Do you want to keep that with you in a safe place and bring it back when we do it with the whole class in a couple Sundays? Or do you want us to hold on for you and we'll bring it to you that Sunday?
Thanks.
Okay, you got it. Hey, it's good to be self-aware.
It's first command.
All right, so my friend Andrew and all of my other friends who are in grades 3 and 4 and below, I'm going to invite you all to stand up. You're going to head over with Dr. C for a special activity for a few minutes. This sermon is 12 minutes, just FYI. But so you can take more if you need.
We have 7 too.
You are not a third grader or below. No, you guys are old enough that you can chew on the tough stuff. All right, I am sorry to report there's some tough stuff to chew on. I like to share only happy things, but it wouldn't be my rabbinic responsibility to only share happy things at a time when there are some hard things going on in the world, and especially in the state of Israel, which those of you who have been here over the last month or two have heard me talk about from time to time. So I'd like to start by just sharing that I did take a little breath this week for the first time in many weeks concerning the state of Israel, but it still feels like Israel is a loved friend or family member who is in trouble. And what do you do when someone you love is in trouble? You don't pull away, you draw closer to them, you reach out, you stay engaged in relationship. That's what my teacher Yossi Klein Halevi had to say about the events taking place in Israel in the last couple of weeks. Now, for the last 75 years and more, the greatest threats to Israel have always been, and certainly have been perceived to be, coming from the outside, right? Its neighbors with whom it does not always get along particularly well, being in a tough neighborhood. But today, Israel's greatest threat is from within. This week, Prime Minister Netanyahu pulled the country back from the brink by pushing pause for dialogue, as he said, on significant proposed changes to Israel's democratic institutions. After labor strikes, defense forces threatening not to serve an undemocratic regime, Netanyahu's governing coalition's threats of violence, the departure of much of the high-tech industry, or at least the threat of the high-tech industry's departure, and several months of sequential massive protests with hundreds of thousands of people in the streets of central Tel Aviv. Finally, Netanyahu identified that there needed to be a pause for dialogue. And you know why he said? He said the reason is to avert a civil war. Those are the words that he used, a milchemet achim, which in Hebrew is literally a war of brothers, a brother's war, a civil war. And that might sound extreme, but it's also believable that such a thing might have come to pass. Tonight, I hope and pray that it will not yet come to pass. I want to believe that that dialogue will actually take place, that it will result in sane and measured outcomes. But we also need to be honest. The same extreme coalition is still in power. The one whose ministers have served jail time for hate crimes, who consider themselves, by their own description, homophobes and fascists, who have compared Reform Judaism to the Holocaust. No pause is going to solve the very real danger from within, that Israel may become yet another failed state headed by a despotic regime. Obviously, none of us wants this to come to pass. But I also think that it's important for us to pay attention when there's a pause, because we're not out of the woods yet. In short, the task for us tonight is to stay involved, to continue to pay attention. It's the oldest trick in the political playbook to ease off the gas and then suddenly return to full speed when people have stopped paying attention, when the issue falls off the news cycle for a minute. And Prime Minister Netanyahu is exceptionally good at saying he's going to do something and then doing something completely different. What's at stake? At stake is nothing less than the soul of the Jewish homeland. At stake is the future of judicial independence in Israel. At stake is ultra-Orthodox Judaism exercising unmitigated unilateral control over women, converts, and Reform Jews. Obviously, friends, this is not what democracy looks like. This is not what pluralism looks like. And Israel was founded under the guise of being both a Jewish and a democratic state. I really hope that Israel will not become a Jewish version of Iran. But let's face it, that's the neighborhood that it's in. Those are the coalitions that it is forming. It has signed these wonderful peace accords with its neighbors, the UAE, right? Some of these Arab countries, which it's great to be at peace with Arab countries, but to what degree is it starting to become more like the regimes of those other Arab countries? It concerns me a lot. In the wake of this rift, a lot of people have called on the Israeli government to finally draft a constitution, which, if you didn't know that it doesn't have a constitution, you can be forgiven for that. It's not something that has frequently become a problem in a public way over the years, but the truth is that it never had a constitution. Instead, it has these basic laws which assure human rights, but which now might be strongly diminished by these judicial changes. When confronting these developments, it would be very easy to despair. But when someone you love is in trouble, you don't disconnect, you draw closer, you reach out. I believe that as American Jews, that is what the hour demands of all of us. We cannot solve Israel's political problems. We cannot vote for different leaders there. But there are things we can do. And I would say that never before in my lifetime, certainly, has there been a more important time to stand with Israel. Not to stand with any particular government, but to stand with Israel as the idea of Israel, as the ideals enshrined in its Declaration of Independence, that a Jewish state must guarantee freedom of religion, freedom of conscience, and equality under the law, irrespective of religious background. It's the promise that Hatikvah says, Israel's national anthem says. Look at my friend Hannah, because we studied this in confirmation, right? In the national anthem, it says, Liot am chofshi ba'artzenu. Hatikvah bat shnot alpayim. To be a free people in our country, having endured through a hope lasting 2,000 years, the hope of 2,000 years gone by. And at the same time, I think it's really important for us as American Jews, along with our whole American Jewish community, to be honest that it is not up to us to create Israel in our image. It's important for us to admit that, because it's primarily shaped by its citizens. Israel is for and of the Jewish people wherever they may be, but we can't reasonably expect that it will be another America just in the Middle East. Now, I've mentioned before that Israel does not have a separation of powers like we have in our constitutional setup. Their lawmaking and executive bodies are all combined in one body called the Knesset. Some of you were here last week or a couple weeks ago when I shared the story of the two brothers in the Knesset. If you don't know that one, I'll tell you after the service. So what happens is in the Knesset, when the majority power in the legislature, it's really important that the courts serve as a balance to it, because the legislature and the executive are a pretty total concentration of power. But the prime minister's proposed changes include the following things, and I won't tell you all of them, but some of the more important ones are controlling the appointment of judges more exclusively, limiting judicial review, and giving the majority legislature the ability from a simple majority vote to overrule any decision of the Supreme Court. Just think about that. A simple majority, and that's really what Netanyahu has. He has 61 or 62 seats, I can't remember, maybe 63 seats out of 120 Knesset seats. And just that, no matter who wins, it can be even 5 elections in 6 years as it's been, has the opportunity to overrule a judicial decision of the Supreme Court of Israel. Can you imagine what that would look like if it were in our country? And can you imagine what it would look like if at the whim of any given election, the party that happens to be in power, even if it's for 3 days, can all of a sudden overrule a Supreme Court decision? What about minority rights, we should rightly ask? Shouldn't a democracy protect the minority, even as it empowers the majority? And at the same time, I'm concerned about a narrowing window of defining Jewish identity in practice, as it's really in control of an ultra-Orthodox, fundamentalist Jewish setup right now. But I want to be really clear, even as I'm saying these things that are difficult to hear and difficult to know, that the best thing for this fundamentalist bloc of rabbis who are in charge of personal status, who can get married to whom, who counts as a Jew, all of these things, the best thing for them would be for diaspora Jews to turn their back on Israel. That is what they hope happens, because they know that diaspora Jews are far more pluralistic than the ultra-Orthodox blocs that allow them to stay in power. What is needed now is not disengaging, but rather a renewed commitment to Israel. So you might be wondering what you can do. I've given some ideas in the last few weeks. To start, I would advise you to consider donating to the Israeli Reform Movement's emergency campaign. They stand to lose more than $1.5 million due to the views of the current government. Another thing that you can do is travel to Israel with TBT. We're starting to plan an Israel trip. I know it might sound like the worst time to plan an Israel trip, but I think it's the best possible time to plan an Israel trip. So if that's something you might be interested in for you or for your family, please let me know. We don't have a date yet, but I'm definitely interested to know if you're interested. This year is a big year because it marks 75 years of Israel's formal existence. Yom HaAtzmaut is coming up in a few weeks. It will probably feel like a complicated year to celebrate Israel. So what I choose to celebrate this year is the Israel envisioned by our ancient prophets, envisioned by its modern founders, a land in which the nation shall be prepared not to take up swords, not to study war, where justice can ring out for all in the echoes of the prophetic tradition, where each person may sit under their vine, their fig tree in safety, and none should have to be afraid. Shabbat Shalom. We'll move now to the conclusion of our service, which is on page 586. I'll invite everybody to please rise. I have like a 3-minute warning. Page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, v'atzeit gdula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol amonam, v'anachnu korenim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim Akadosh Baruch Hu. Page 591. Shehu Nosei Shamayim ve'osei haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imav u'shchinatu zo v'govhei meromim. Sorry, 588. Eloheinu Einot Emet Malkeinu Emezulato Kakatu B'Torato Yadata Yom Ve'ashivota Elevamecha Ki Adonai Hua Elohim V'Shamayim Imav Ve'al Haaretz Mitachat Eino. Now page 591. Ve'ne'emar ve'ya Adonai ve'melech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo You can all have a seat. We think now, as the conclusion of our service comes, about loved ones whom death has taken from us, about those who died at this season in years gone by, those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. I'll share the names of those who are in a period of Shiva and Shloshim within our community, and they include the Handelman family. We remember Gladys Handelman, mother of Bob Handelman. Sharing a yard site, those who have lost a loved one at this time in years gone by, feel free to rise as I read your loved one's name if you're here for yard site, and please stay standing. Tonight we remember Bella Privner, Stephen Sack, Lillian Dolgen, Jeanette Siegel, Herman Spiegel, Rose Bernstein, David Brian Davis, Geraldine Eber, Ella Jacobson, Robert Zimmerman, William Fogel, Stephen Cohen, Israel Levy, Esther Merkin, Emmerich Olbaum, Andrea Kevrick, Dr. Diane A. King, Marion Kahn, L. Streitfeld, and Francis Weinstein. There are others here who are in a period of mourning, and you'd like to share the name of your loved one as you remember them. Feel free to share their names with the community if you wish. Anyone for Kaddish tonight? I invite us all to please rise in solidarity with our mourners and all of the mourners of our people, as we hallow God's name with these ancient words, page 598, 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash me'rabah, v'yamad yivrach tirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kari v'yimru, amen. Yehi shmei rabah mevorach le'olam u'le'omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Ve'amiran ve'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Yimru, amen. May the source of peace and harmony up high bring peace into our world and comfort into the hearts of all who mourn. As together we say, Oseh shalom b'mromav v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. You can have a seat, everybody. So good to see you this Shabbos. Special greetings, Maya, to your family who've come to be with you on this special occasion in your life. And Lizzie Sharp, I believe, is going to greet us on behalf of our board, right? Yes? She needs it.
Shalom, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
A warm welcome to all guests here with us tonight. My name is Lizzie Sharp, and I am co-chair of the Social Justice Committee on the Board of Directors. Please join us on Zoom tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for mindfulness and meditation, and at 9 a.m. for Torah study, both led by Lauren Sturman. The links are going to be in your inbox. On Sunday, religious school will meet at its usual time. The sixth graders will be enjoying our chocolate seder, and J-Chat will meet at 12 p.m. Passover is just around the corner. Please mark your calendar for a special pre-Shabbat oneg that we're calling the Sippin Seder to take place on Shabbat of Pesach, April 7th, 1 week from tonight. Please note that TBT will also be closed on April 6th in observance of Passover. Also mark your calendars for Yom HaShoah, the Holocaust Remembrance Day, on the evening of Monday, April 17th. We are continuing our joint commemoration with the synagogue in Chester. Again, Shabbat Shalom and good luck. Mazel tov to you, Maya.
Luck, she doesn't need luck.
That's true.
All right, Maya, what do you say? Should we do Kiddush together?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. That's the attitude. Amazing. All right, let's grab you.
Juice. Nice, I think it's juice.
It is definitely juice. Here. Why don't you put that right here? Okay. One page 123. You've already got it ready. So we're on page 123, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Okay, give them a second to get there.
You just cut me off for a second.
And then we will start with whenever you're ready. Ta Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah b'anu, v'shabbat kosho v'ahava u'ratzon yichilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v're'eshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh, ze'efer mitziah mi'Yitzrayim, Kivanu b'chartan, v'tanu kinasha, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat koshecha, v'ahava u'ratzon, inchaltanu, ata Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat lechaim. How's that taste?
Like grape juice.
That was a very diplomatic response. So Maya, what's one thing that you're super excited about for tomorrow?
Probably my friends and family being there.
That's great. Well, they're really excited to be here. Now I know what you really think of the grape juice. You can finish it. It's really half of a cupful. All right. And while you're finishing that, oh, we know it's an occasion when we get an Abby Lipschitz call-up. Wait, stay, Maya. We need you for Mosey. Abby, thank you for gracing us with your beautiful challah abilities. Would you like to take off the cover?
Sure. Oh, that's beautiful.
She just said, oh, it's beautiful. All right, should we leave the moti together?
Yeah.
You start.
Take a big piece.
Yeah, no, not that part. I'm just kidding. Oh, is there a knife?
Oh, maybe that should have been used.
Oh, there was a knife under it. There was a knife under it.
Pretty knife too.
It is pretty. I think what we should do is we should leave this on this table so people can come and have a piece themselves. Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mine, you take the rest home.
Yes.
That fellow has eaten lesser files. Okay, wait, we need our kiddos for a closing song. Kids. Where do you need me for a closing song? Yeah, there's Kala in your future. Come on, everybody, there's Kala in your future. There's Kala in your future. Okay, but we have our closing song first, third and fourth grade.
All right, everybody in third and fourth, stay up here. You can stay up here too. Miriam, you want to join us? We're going to just sing Asa Shalom, just like we do it in Hebrew school every week. Are you going to come up, Mia? Mia, join us. You know this song. Come join us. You know this song. Mia. All right, guys, are you ready? Are you ready? We're ready, Rabbi.
Okay, great. So are we singing the boring Oseh Shalom?
No. Yes,
Oh.
the one that goes Ose Shalom, all in the same note.
You're kidding me, right?
Yes, we are.
Oh.
Oseh Shalom Irah. Uyaseh Shalom Aleichem. Good. Can you sing louder than you clap? young friends, awesome job. All of our other friends, may this season of freedom and peace really bring more peace and joy into our world. And we can all say,
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Shalom
So I get to take this home, right?
There's too much call up.